Hello, VCers. Welcome to my channel once again. Tony here. Really appreciate you stopping by. Tony's LPs or Us. This segment is going to be the review of this album that I picked up Record Store Day. This was one record that when I saw the list on Record Store Day that came out maybe 8 weeks ago or whatever, this was one of the first things that I said I have to have this. This is Strange Days, 1967, a work in progress. It's a single record. It's on translucent blue vinyl that's really pretty. And it says rough mixes from the album's early 1967 sessions discovered after 58 years by Bruce Botnick. Now, I'm going to talk about the record. I'm going to talk about what I think about it. Just my opinion. You may have a different opinion. Most of stuff I talk about, could vary from what you think about, but that's what's fun about, doing a YouTube channel. I get to talk about how I feel, and you get to talk about how you feel, and you could talk about that in the comments. If I left something out, if I said something incorrect, I'm corrected, and I love those because we all learn from the viewers who are, Doors people and music lovers, just like we are. So you could see the great cover, and the cover art is basically from the rear of the original. You can see that poster that's on the wall. This is the Analog Productions 45 RPM version. I listened to this before I did the review, before I listened to the sessions, and I listened to my Gold Electra stereo copy of Strange Days, 1967, when I got it, or 68, but this is one of the first pressings of that record. So I listened to those. I was amazed at how good the record sounded, especially the Analog Productions. So I listened to it on the Gold, and then I went to the next level, and I listened to it on the 45 RPM Analog Productions. Now, first of all, I just want to give a shout out to the boys in the band. When you think about the Doors, most people think about Jim Morrison, but Jim Morrison is just one factor, the big factor, the front man, one of the greatest rock singers of our era. But the guys in the band just shine on this record. Jim Morrison, of course, unbelievable. Ray Manzarek, incredible. Bobby Krieger's guitar work was so good. Dinsmore's drumming is so good. He's a jazz drummer, just phenomenal. So these guys get whatever they get as far as royalties and money from all these reissues. They deserve everything they get, and so does the estate. So what do I think about this record? Here's the inner. There's the tape box. I'll show you the vinyl before we start. I also did an unboxing where I cleaned this record twice on the VPI, on a vacuum cleaner. I always clean my new records. I recommend that. So what did I think about this record? First of all, this wasn't as good as the LA Sessions, the box set. With the box set of the LA Sessions, I was just flabbergasted. I love that. I listened to it multiple times when I first picked it up, maybe 2 years ago when that came out, Record Store Day. But that's a box set. It's either 4 or 5 records. Goes through each song as they build that song. You hear a lot of chatter in the studio with the boys in the band, talking to the engineers behind the glass. Just great. I love that chatter. None of that's on here. You don't get any studio chatter. You don't get them building each song, because what this is basically a rough mix of the album. Now on here, Strange Days, Your Lost Little Girl, Love Me 2 Times, Horse Latitudes, We Could Be So Good Together, Side 2, I Can't See Your Face in My Mind, and When the Music's Over. So, first of all, I think the record's kind of noisy. It's not dead quiet. I cleaned it twice. Still kind of noisy. Almost sounded compressed after listening to the Analog Productions. The soundstage was there. Some good separation, but not a lot of air in between instruments, in between the players. Jim's right out front, as he is normally in any Doors record. Musician-wise, phenomenal, but this record just didn't do it for me. I was kind of disappointed. Should you buy it? Well, if you're a huge Doors fan, you need it. If you're a casual Doors fan, and you have Strange Days, either a reissue, some of the phenomenal recent reissues, or an original, that's all you really need. This doesn't add anything to the album. I couldn't really tell after listening to it twice and listening to this. I'm sure if I listened to it multiple times, I could. Maybe you can. Maybe you're more fluent to what this record, what they overdubbed on this record. But I did not sense anything different. And overall, the record doesn't sound as good as the original. It should sound better if it's a rough mix. It should sound not better, but less produced. It should sound more upfront, more of a master tape, as the LA sessions did to me. So I just have some quick notes. Compressed. We Could Be So Good Together is just a great highlight, but still like the original better on the original pressing. Overall, the band is just phenomenal. That goes without saying. Is it a money grab? Maybe. You may think so, but I was not blown away by this record. The guest bass player is just phenomenal, as is the rest of the group. The Doors are bigger than the sum of the parts. The band is just phenomenal. This isn't a review on the Doors quality. We all know the Doors quality. This is a review on the sessions. Do you really have to get the sessions? Rough mix, if you're into that type of thing. But I wasn't flabbergasted by it. I'm glad I bought it. I wanted it right away, so I'm happy to get it. But if you haven't gotten it yet, and you get to pay a lot more money for it, you may have to think twice. If you got it for $25 at Record Store Day, you're happy with it. You're a Doors collector. But like I said, for the casual Doors fan, don't really know if you need it. It just didn't do it for me. I didn't see or hear anything new. There was no revelations. When I listened to LA Sessions, I said, man, this is the greatest thing. Similar to some of the Beatle box sets, when you get take after take, and that's what I thought this was going to be. But it's not. It's not advertised as that. It's advertised as a rough mix of the record. And if you see the inner sleeve of that, that's what it is, rough mix. There's some great notes on by Bruce Botnick on here. So, what can I say? Kind of noisy. Thought it was sound compressed. Overall, I didn't learn anything new. I didn't hear anything new. So wasn't supposed to hear anything new. I was supposed to hear stuff that was left out. But sometimes when you get overdubbed, the original is what is better. Sometimes the original is more closer to what the band laid down on tape, and I guess this is what this is. So if you're a Doors freak and you really need it, go out and buy it. But otherwise, I'm not feeling it. Not one of the greatest things I've ever heard by the Doors. The original is one of the greatest things I ever heard by the Doors. So these rough mixes are of the moment, since they reflect exactly what and where we were during the recording sessions. The mixes are loose, with lots of heavy limiting on the stereo boost and the Fairchild 7060 stereo limiter, and copious amounts of the Studio One echo chamber. All analog. Digital hadn't been invented yet. So that's what Bruce writes on the liner notes, and I read the liner notes when I did the unboxing. But overall, the Horse Latitude, when the music's over, just phenomenal, of course, but that's phenomenal without hearing the rough mix. So, like I said, I really wanted an LA Sessions type of box set. Maybe those tapes don't exist. I'm sure if they did, the Doors estate would probably release those, and that would be a success. When I was listening to Horse Latitudes, I kind of, I was just amazed at 1967 what they came up with. Apparently, they were influenced by Sergeant Pepper because the guys from the Turtles were in the studio and they brought in a rough, I guess, an acetate or a first pressing of Sergeant Pepper, and the boys were floored. And I think they gave them a little bit more experimentation and their creativity, so they kind of opened up a little bit more. This record's very psychedelic. It's not Sergeant Pepper, but it's very psychedelic. And, just overall, I'm not overwhelmed. It basically, the content is a 10. The recording, the transfer, I give it like a 7 because I kind of heard noise in it. Compressed, maybe that's my opinion. Maybe that's how it sounded on my system. So, no studio chatter. If that's what you're looking for, you're not going to get that. Nothing special. Nothing that's going to jump out at you and you're going to say, man, that's really great. Of course, session-wise, they shine. If this was released on its own, it probably would have sold millions as well. But then you have the original release, and I think that's better than this. So, there you have it. And before I forget, thanks again. I really appreciate you stopping by. Really appreciate all the subs. And when I was listening to this Moonlight, what was it? When the Music's Over and Horse Latitudes, I thought of this poster that I had hanging up in my bedroom. This poster's probably 60 years old. One of those black light posters. You could see where I think that the inspiration came from. Whoever heard the Doors maybe painted this. Moonlight Drive. So, should you get it? It's up to you. It's good. It's not overwhelming. It's not phenomenal, in other words. So, that's it. Not really happy 100%. Glad I have it. If you're a Doors guy, Doors gal, Doors fan, need to have everything, I could buy it. But if you're just a Doors listener who likes the greatest hits, who just likes the Doors in general, then pick this up. Probably about the same price. This is a lot better. So that's it. That's my review. Hope you like it. Thanks again for watching. Keep rocking. Stay safe. See you later. Ciao.